I want you to use your imagination for a moment as I tell you this story. Imagine you, as an individual, were asked by some other entity, the government, a church, to take in some people that were having a rough time. And you were like, well, I don't know, but you know what? I'll help you guys out. I'll take these people in. You bring them into your home. You give them food. You give them shelter. And imagine that you were the first group to even do it while others were still thinking about it. You took the resources from your own family, things that you would be helping your wife, your kids, your mother with, and you gave it to these people. Because why? You were asked to do that sort of service. You come to find out about a year later that the people you were helping are going to benefit and get a grant bigger than what you would get. Imagine the people that you're going to be helping out of your own resources, they are going to get, let's say, about $100,000, $200,000, while you are going to get nothing. How would you feel? Yeah, you would feel pretty bad. Let's go all the way to the west side of Chicago, where we're going to encounter a group called the Austin People's Action Center. And what they did was something remarkable. This is a group that I can't really be quoted on this, but I believe they're an African-American female-led organization. So when the migrant crisis hit west side of Chicago, unlike some African Americans who were pissed off, they said, listen, we are going to help these women. These women are in need. We got to help them. Well, I'm going to tell you how that worked out for them.
A Westside social service organization urging Governor Pritzker to take action. They say the governor should include all women of color in the state's budget. The Austin People's Action Center said it was one of the first groups on the West Side to provide food, clothing, medical, and personal supplies to migrants. But the organization's founder says the proposed spending plan, which she says appropriates $1,000 per month for migrant women, demonstrates a flaw in the budget.
We need answers and reassurance that the very communities who are in need and have always been in need are not left out of the equation.
The Austin People's Action Center says the needs of African-American women are still going unmet. They say migrants should be helped along with all other women of color in Illinois.
That's right. Governor Pritzker. Want to know what he did? Want to know what Brandon Johnson did? They basically said to those ladies, F your efforts. We're going to give the money to these ladies, $1,000 a month. So these women are like, whoa, hold on, slow your roll, stop the show. African-American women need the support more so than them. Like, hey, it's okay to help them. We get it. What about us? And I'm going to go back to this clip that I got from Fox News. There were some houses that were abandoned in the black community. The black community wanted these houses for resources in the community. Well, what happened with that?
But what we see across the city of Chicago is that they're getting access to, they're getting up to $9,000 in funding. They're getting access, they're getting rental assistance, they're getting support, free childcare, free transportation, and with the housing situation, we're noticing now the city of Chicago has been scrambling to really find places for them to go. So they're making deals with landowners. And the problem with that is that in the black community, there's a lot of absent landowners, and they've left dilapidated properties in our neighborhoods. We have fought for years to try to get those dilapidated properties to come back into the community. And now all of a sudden, now that there's this money falling from out the sky for migrants, these landowners are now using the money to renovate to allow migrants to get in. Let me give you an example. This one landowner in South Shore has a 8-unit building, designated 8-unit building. This man was allowed by the city of Chicago to turn this 8-unit building into a bed for 69 migrants. And he's already have a history of being a slum landlord. So we're now beginning to see that they're prioritizing migrants in housing and then also utilizing land that really should be renovated and brought back into the community.
Well, we all know what happened with that. They found the money, they gave it to somebody else, and then that person fixed it up and put migrants in there. You know, Dr. Claude Anderson talked about this in 1995. I always use these clips all the time, but I want to play it. He predicted this in 95, what would happen to other immigrants when they came to this country. Here's what he said.
It was first issued in 1638 by the Maryland colony, and nothing has changed, and that black folk are still fighting for self-sufficiency and competitiveness in this country, and that we must come together quickly or what risk being a permanent underclass in the society.
One of the alarming predictions you make in the book is along those lines. You mentioned that blacks will be pretty much a permanent underclass in America by the year 2015. Why the year 2015?
2015 because what I've concluded from analysis is that there are going to be a converging of social factors nationally and internationally that's going to place blacks in a permanent status of underclasship. And we anticipate by that point in time, based on all the research that's coming to us, that the next generation of whites are going to be more anti-black than they've been since the civil rights movement. 2, we anticipate by the same token about 86 million Hispanics coming into the United States and about 41 million Asians by that point in time, which is going to kick black folk out of being the minority in the society down to a minority. We've been number 2 in the society for 400 years as a group. We're going to become number 4. And if we have not gotten anything after being number 2 for 400 years, you guess what's going to happen when we become number 4. Because at that point in time, all the new groups coming into America, they're coming in higher than we are because this country operates off of a preferential acceptance program, which means that groups are coming in based on skin color. They're going from the lightest down to the darkest. Light, yellow, brown, black. And that's what our immigration laws are based on. And black folk would not be able to penetrate through those groups to get to the white society when that happens, because those groups owe us nothing. They don't understand our problems, and they are competitive with us, and we don't begin to be a little more aggressive about being in a competitive posture. They're going to eat our lunches.
We have to understand this, and black people have seen it all the time. We are always voting for the Democrats, voting for people who, number one, we feel like they remind us of us. They are disenfranchised. We are disenfranchised. Let's make friends because we're both disenfranchised. But you know what? You can't make friends based off the fact that you're both disenfranchised. It doesn't work. I think guys have seen what happened with the so-called black and brown coalition. Well, you're oppressed, I'm oppressed. Let's be brothers. I don't think a lot of black people feel that the black and brown coalition is about brother and sisterhood. It might have been that at one time, but certainly black folks don't feel like that now, especially in Chicago. They can't feel like that. Because why? When you help these people, they may say thank you, but you want to know what they're gonna do? They're gonna start helping their people. All right? They're gonna start helping their people. When they come and set businesses up, they're gonna do it right there in your community. And you know what? When they start sending their kids to school, wanna know where their kids not gonna be? In your community. How many times have you seen like Arab-owned stores, Indian-owned stores, Indian gas stations? And I'm not saying that's wrong. I mean, entrepreneurship is something that anybody can do. But when the money comes from the black community, their kids don't go to school in the black community. Their kids go to, where? Harvard, Yale, state colleges, everything. It doesn't matter that they got a handout from you. What matters is they got it, and most people don't repay it. Okay? How many times have you lended money to somebody that needed it? How many times have you been paid back? It's been very few times, right? Want to know what you got to do? Don't give them nothing. And I hate to say it like this, it's unfortunate what happens to other groups in this country. It's unfortunate. To anybody who's not an African American, it's unfortunate, right? And my heart goes out to any human that is disadvantaged. But here's what's happening. That a lot of the political powers that be want to give this to migrants over Americans. I got a news story coming out about this particular big company that laid off all Americans and hired, you know what? Migrants. That's right. I'm going to put it out here pretty soon. It's crazy. So you got to understand that your people got to come first. I heard something. FUBU had a quote back in the day. FUBU, a clothing brand. It was called For Us, By Us. All right? And there is some nepotism in that. You know, the people who are saying, oh, you know, you blacks out there, you guys are selfish, you know, you got nepotism. I'm gonna tell you like this. When they get the resources, they're gonna act like that too, right? We've seen it in a lot of the black community divides. We've seen it in many places, right? And it's good to have allies of all different people, all different groups. Not everybody's a bad person, we get it. But if you don't look out for your own people, neither will the government. And what Pritzker and the Democrats have realized, oh, well, African Americans, they really don't care. Just never give them anything because they will do whatever we want. So we don't have to give them anything. But that ain't how they approach Hispanics. That ain't how they approach the Jews. That ain't how they approach Asians. Because those groups fundamentally expect and force that you put us first. We're the only groups of people that don't do that. We kind of go along to get along. And, you know, as long as somebody talks black to us without giving us anything, it's fine. And now you start to see, here is your payment for accepting less. Again, imagine you're in a relationship with somebody. And that person is always allowed to disrespect you, to cheat, to not be accountable. What will they do? They're going to continue to cheat, become unaccountable. And for men, it gets worse. At a certain point, you get what they call sexless marriages, sex relationships. Why? Because you've let it go on for so long. That person's like, look, why do I need to give you something? And you want to know what happens? And most men know this. The next guy that comes around, they give them everything, and that person ain't even gave them nothing. You're like, wait a minute, I've been here the whole time. I've been holding you down. I got the kids, I'm paying the mortgage. Why is this new dude getting something? Well, you don't demand it. So what you gotta do when people don't wanna give you something that you demand, you gotta get rid of them, period. Get rid of them, period. There is no other way about it. And I also wanna go back to Cal Trust's old clip with Phil Scott on Interview. A lot of times, we are always voting in somebody black, like Brandon Johnson. Governor Pritzker is not black, okay? But the agenda is not coming from black people. And this is what she learned about voting black. Yeah, that's right. You can't always vote black because the person is black. Because just because they look like you don't mean they're thinking about your interests. All black politicians must have a black mind if you're gonna vote for them. They need to have a black agenda if you're gonna vote for them. If they don't talk about things that you want that are important to you, like what is your plan for reparations? What is your plan for the community development here? And what is your plan for that there? If they don't have it, don't vote for them. Because again, what's gonna happen is when they become mayor, they're not gonna become loyal to you. They're gonna be loyal to their respective party. And you see it with Democrats solely. Guys, what do you think? It's your boy, Shirley Jackson, back at it again. Here on Kangana, I'm out.